You're listening to Garibaldi Red, a Nottingham Forest podcast brought to you by Nottinghamshire Live. Hello, welcome to Garibaldi Red as Nottingham Forest march on one step closer to promotion, hopefully by the automatic route, after a brilliant 5-1 win against Swansea at the weekend with a Sam Surridge hat-trick marking the occasion. To discuss all that and look ahead to that massive game against Bournemouth tomorrow, I'm joined first of all by our Reds correspondent Sarah Clapson. Hello Sarah, are you well?
I am, yes. Hello Matt.
And hello Sarah. And our second guest today is Reds fan regular Mikey Clarke. Hello Mikey, how are you?
I'm great, thanks. Hi, Matt. Hi, Sarah.
Hello.
Hello. Right, let's get straight into it. Sarah, verdict on the game? I mean, I must admit, I found it too stressful to listen to the whole thing. I listened to the first half with Colin Fray and then went and cut my lawn because I couldn't bear to think they might dominate the game and not win. What was it like in the stadium?
Yeah, it was a little bit like that. They had so many chances in the first half, especially. You got to half time and wondered how they weren't 5-1 up already. Second half was a bit more comfortable, scored some really good goals, took control of it and well worthy of the win. And yeah, I think it was a really positive day and a fantastic atmosphere at the City Ground. It was absolutely incredible. And if that is the last home game, then what a way to go. It was brilliant.
Yeah, Mikey, you messaged during the game about the atmosphere. I think it was maybe 4-1 at that point. I'm not sure, but you said it was up there with anything you could remember. Was that one of your big takeaways from the whole occasion?
It was, yeah. I think a lot of people went to sort of pay their thanks to the team for a remarkable effort in the last sort of few months. And the atmosphere, even from minute one, was absolutely fantastic. I think Forza did a bit of a flag display at the start that always kicked things off nicely, and we really started on the front foot, and the crowd fed off that as well. So, whilst you were saying, Matt, you were a bit nervous at half time and couldn't listen. I don't think that was replicated in the ground, to be honest. I think at half time everybody was remarkably calm, and I think that's probably a bit of a compliment to the way we've come out in the second half in recent months. I think there was just a belief there that we'd find a way to get the 3 points, and obviously that was an emphatic second half display. But yeah, in terms of the atmosphere, it was absolutely wonderful. It was a great way to end the regular season at home.
The first half. Talking about the first half, I don't always read out opposition manager comments, but I'll read this one out from Russell Martyn, the Swansea boss. I thought the first half was great. We took the sting out of the atmosphere and controlled it for long periods, he told our friends at Wales Online. We had some really good moments. Their scary moments came from set pieces on the counter-attack, which is something they're brilliant at. And I don't like to say, we should be drug testing managers as well as players, Sarah, but what's he on about?
Not quite sure. Yeah, not quite sure where he got that from. He must have watched a different first half to most of the people inside the ground, because Forest were... they didn't have a lot of the ball, and that was part of the game plan. I thought it was a really clever way of approaching it from Steve Cooper. He really showed his tactical knowledge, because he explained afterwards that he's obviously seen a lot of Swansea. They've done a lot of analysis. They do a lot of work in any game, but they know that Swansea do see a lot of the ball, but they also give away a lot of goals and a lot of opportunities, and they played on that. I think it was Forest overall had about 30% possession, but still managed a heck of a lot of shots and a heck of a lot of opportunities created, and they did a lot in the first half. I would have taken umbrage with those comments.
Was Swansea just a bit naive, Mike? I mean, if you give a team the ball, they come up and up and up the pitch, and their line gets higher and higher, they're prone for a counter-attack, aren't they? I mean, is that just another mark of Cooper being this tactically versatile master this season?
Yeah, I agree. And I did hear those comments. I thought they were rather strange. I think before the game, Swansea let in 7 goals in 2 games, 4 against Reading, 3 against Bournemouth. So obviously defensively, they were a little bit frail. I kind of expected them to maybe play a little bit deeper, a bit more cautious. But the way they approached the game, I found quite strange. So I think they had 71% possession, but never really, as Sarah was saying, threatened our goal. So we just sort of set traps and picked them off. If you watch the goals back in the second half, most of them came from the transition. So where they're losing the ball in sort of our final third, they've committed too many players up the pitch. and we just sprung and attacked them. So I kind of understand what he was saying around trying to control the first half, and they did go in at 1-1, that's fine. But like I said before, there was just a belief around the ground that this can't continue, because we should have got 3 or 4 in the first half. So, as players get more tired, the game opens up naturally. I found their tactics a little weird. So that's 12 goals in 3 games they've conceded. Well, if that's controlling a football game, then not necessarily where my head's at. But no, they obviously have a very defined way of playing, Swansea. They have for a number of years, over a number of managers. I think something like that showed that Steve Cooper is tactically a little bit ahead of his opposition manager on Saturday. And it was pretty obvious from where I was sitting what was going to happen. They'd lose the ball. We quickly transition and attack. And I think we had 27 shots, 17 on target. I mean, that's outrageous. If a team's had more than that this season, I'd be surprised.
No, it's the record. It broke a record jointly held by Man City and Liverpool. I think it was 15 was the highest this season. We should talk about Sam Surridge in some depth, Sarah. I mean, he did, listening to the radio, he missed a couple of chances in the first half, but he's just a wonderful finisher, isn't he? When he's confident, he seems like a confidence player, and he's obviously got that at the moment.
Yeah, his finishing is incredible. He's just so clinical, and he did miss a couple of chances in the first half, but the ones he took were just superb. That I could watch that one where he curls it into the net so many times. I think I've watched it over and over again. It's just absolutely wonderful play, wonderful finish. All of them really were good goals. A good header. The third one where he kind of was alert to the ball coming into towards him from Jed Spence's cross that hit the bar. He's just clinical, and he just offers so much as well. I think sometimes it's easy to overlook the hard work and the effort that he puts in during the rest of the game, but he works so hard. He's great when he gets the ball. He'll help out, tracking back. He'll put pressure on defenders. He's great on the last shoulder. He's just a fantastic player, and it's great that he's got this run in the team now. I think when you lose somebody like Lewis Grabban and Keenan Davies, I think sometimes there's a bit of a concern about how you think Forest are going to do and whether they can cope with that. But he's just stepped up, and you'd back him over a longer period of time to get a lot of goals. If he gets an extended run in the team next season, I think he can easily get to 20 because he's just got that in him.
Forest had Dale Taylor on the bench as well. It's worth noting at the weekend. Obviously, the next man up is Dale Taylor at the moment. He's a very exciting prospect. Mikey, I suppose the second goal will get all the headlines because it was, I think it was compared to Thierry Henry on Sky. It was that nature of finish. But like Sarah says, Surridge's all-round game makes him such a valuable player at the moment, doesn't it? I mean, against Fulham in that first half, I thought he was exceptional without getting a look in at goal. Obviously, he set the goal up, but he's such a valuable asset at the moment, isn't he, Surridge?
His movement's excellent. So what is he, 23? I think we got him for a couple of £1 million. He's looking an absolute steal at the moment. I think his all-round play is absolutely fantastic. He's decent in the air. He's not the quickest, but what he maybe lacks in that first yard of pace, he makes up for with football intelligence, and his movement's great. The chance at Fulham where he was at the far stick and the keeper somehow saved it. If you watch his movement there, he sort of darts to the near post. The defender goes with him and he pulls away to the far post for what maybe should have been an easy tap in. But that is really intelligent movement. And yes, that second goal of his where he bent it in the top corner as the first time as well. And he has this striker's knack of he doesn't really even look at the goal because he knows where the goal is. So he has one glance up. He knows where it is. He looks at the ball, just like his finish at Blackpool, where he smashed it in the corner. I'm not sure you can teach that. He's obviously a very, very gifted footballer, and we're kind of lucky to have him. I think he's with us for another 2 years. But like Sarah says, I mean, if he starts next season, dependent on what league we're in, certainly if we're in the Championship, I can see him getting 20 goals easily, especially with that kind of service that he's getting at the moment. He could be the replacement for Grabban that we've been looking for. We always talk about these 20 goal a season strikers, and we've had maybe 2, maybe 3 over the last 20 odd years. I think everybody can probably name them. Could he be one? Maybe. I mean, he's started off absolutely on fire on his career, and his goals to minute ratio when he was coming off the bench was astonishing, if I'm honest. So now he's getting a run in the team, albeit due to a few injuries. He's proven that he's more than worth getting a start for the team. And I think what's going to be really interesting, Matt, is if Davies is back and if we're in the playoffs, does Davies get back in the team? Because if you would have asked me this 2 weeks ago, I'd say yes, of course he does. He's brilliant at this level. But how can you drop a guy that's just scored a hat-trick, that looks like he's going to score every time he gets through on goal, and as Sarah says, works really, really hard, so gives that extra legs for the team? It's a great quandary for Cooper to have, to be honest with you. But rather that than having to scratch around for for options. So no, it is looking really, really positive. And if we are in the playoffs, I'm sure we'll talk about it, and Davies is back, he's got a hell of a decision to make.
Yes, well, dipping into the comments, that was going to be one of my next questions. That's a few people raised it. Samuel raised it here on Facebook. If Davies fit, would he get in the team? If you were Steve Cooper, Sarah, and there's playoff game tomorrow,
I'm glad I'm not.
Nice problem to, well, yeah, nice problem to have though.
A really good problem to have. He doesn't like to change things too much, Steve Cooper, and you could see why he would stick with starting Surridge if that is the case. But I think Surridge is a better impact player coming off the bench than Davies perhaps would be, because he can get the goals if the opportunities crop up. Whereas I think Davies, you have him pummeling the opposition for 60, 70 minutes, and then you bring Surridge on to finish off chances. I'm not sure it would work quite as well if you had it the other way around, but it is a really nice problem to have.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Like you say, Surridge is such a natural finisher. You need someone. You need ice in the veins coming off the bench, and maybe I hadn't thought of it that way. I was going to say pick Surridge, but yeah, you might well be right there. We're talking about it because Davies might be fit for the playoffs. Is that right, Sarah? That's the latest on Davies, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the hope is he'd have a chance of being back for the playoffs. But we all know Steve Cooper's record when it comes to talking about injuries, so we'll see him on the bench on Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll play 90 minutes on Tuesday. Though.
Yes.
It wouldn't be a bad thing, hopefully. We'll come to that game in depth in a minute. A couple of other things I wanted to talk about. Just a quick word on the first goal, Sarah. What happened there from your point of view? It sounded like it was a bit mad. We got there in the end, but what happened?
Goodness knows, I still don't know. 1 minute it was a penalty and a red card, and then it wasn't, and it was rescinded, and it was a goal. Cyrus Christie's had a heck of a week for Forest, scoring against Bournemouth and then scoring an own goal against them.
His best week for Forest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he deserves a medal if they do get promoted. Yeah, it was just. I mean, Jack Colback did well to try to force it over the goal line, and it took a while for them to decide. I think we were sat there for a few minutes thinking, is this a penalty? Is it a goal? Eventually they decided, or that the review system showed that it had crossed the line, and it counted in the end, which is all you can ask for.
Would you rather, quick question to each of you, would you rather have a penalty and 10 men or a goal and a yellow card? Sarah first.
I'd rather have the goal. Penalties make me too nervous. I'd rather have the goal and it was done.
Mikey?
Right, so I'm gonna answer this question by saying it depends on the state of the game and the minute of the game.
This is supposed to be a one-word answer.
It is kind of. So where it happened on Saturday, it was relatively early. I would have rather had a penalty and a sending off, because even if we didn't score the penalty, we've got 70-odd minutes against 10 men. Now, if it was 10 minutes to go and it was 0-0, then, of course, I go along with Sarah. So I think it's all dependent on the state of the game. But on this one, I would have sent him off and had the penalty.
I do remember a game against Swansea about 11 years ago in the playoffs where Swansea had someone sent off about 3 minutes in and Forest couldn't break them down. So I think I'd take the goal. Personally, it doesn't really matter. Frivolous question. Last thing to talk about from the game, unless there is something else to raise, is Alex Martyn's goal. A nice bit of icing on the cake there, I guess, really. He's been a bit on the fringes, but he shows what he can do when he came on, didn't he?
Yeah, really, really pleased for Martyn. He took it so well. It was great determination to get there and to get the ball in the back of the net. I thought he's looked good whenever he has come on from off the bench, and he did again on Saturday. I thought he looked really bright, really lively, really got involved. And we asked Steve Cooper about him yesterday, actually, and he said that he's still a big part of his plans. It's just that he's had a bit of a tough season, a bit of a frustrating season with injuries, with how well the team's been doing. I mean, forcing your way into the starting 11 at the minute is tough for anybody. And he's just had to be a bit patient. But the manager did stress that he's a big part of his plans going forward. He thinks he can have a bright future. He really rates him. He really likes him. It's just he's still young. You forget how young he is and how much he still has to develop. But he's a good player, isn't he? He showed that on Saturday, and he'll show that again, no doubt.
Yeah, I suppose the big question with Martyn is what his best position is. I don't think he's a winger. I don't think he's a central striker. Mikey, is he a secondary striker off someone playing in that kind of right channel between the fullback and the centre back? Is that his long-term future?
Yeah, I think so. Probably because of the way he's built, and he's quick, and he's great on the half turn. So perhaps that's where he will develop. What we'll say though, Sarah, I don't know whether you noticed, when Martyn scored, did you see Yates run, grab the ball?
Yeah.
So that is like, I love that. And me and my friend were talking about it. That shows the mentality in this team at the moment. Can we get a 6? There's a few more minutes to go. They probably, I know they say they don't, but they probably knew Bournemouth were winning easily. So it's one of those things. They could have just said, do you know what, we're not going to do anything for a few minutes. We'll just make sure we're all fit. But that's not the mentality at all under Cooper, and you saw that at Bristol when he first took over, running the ball back and trying to get the winner. So I did notice that. But yeah, going back to Martyn, Matt, I think a lot of fans say, would he benefit from a loan to say League One like Ryan Yates has and Brennan has before that, and even going back to the past, players like Wes Morgan and Jamal Lascelles went to lower level and kind of sort of toughened them up a little bit. So there is that argument, and I'm not sure where I stand on that, but I think he does need more minutes on the pitch. So I guess dependent on where we're at next season, what league, will probably determine the amount of chances he has. So it may be that we see him try and get regular football somewhere. But I suspect that if we don't go up and, certain people will obviously leave and the loan players, the vast majority will go back, he may get a good run inside next season. And I do see him as that sort of inside forward on the half turn, facing goal 20-25 yards out, running at the opposition. I think that's where he's primed at. Maybe not in the centre, but maybe as Brennan does and as Joe Lolly used to a few years ago, sort of cutting inside and playing that way. But the ceiling is very high for players like Alex, without shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, definitely. Agree. Let's look at Tuesday then in some depth. Bournemouth, Forest win, then it's in their hands going into the final game against Hull. Goal difference is very close, we were discussing there. So, yeah, all to play for. How are the nerves, Mikey?
Oh, you know me, I'm like a rock. I don't...
emotionally dead.
Yeah. Well, how are the nerves? Do you know what? I'm seeing this as a bonus, because if it's a bit of a cliche, but if you would have said to me after 7 games they'd have the playoff spot cemented and they're going for automatic, I would have thought you were mad. But the fact that we've got playoffs sewn up, we're going to be, I think we're at home second leg, I'm not too sure, but I think we must be. All this to me is a bonus. This is almost like, can we somehow, scrape a gold medal instead of a silver medal? Nobody expected us to do it. It's like going into those final few rounds of a big boxing match, and everybody's just swinging. And can we land a punch before they land a punch? I didn't expect any of this, so I'm not really nervous, if I'm honest. Now, if you ask me in a week or so if we're in the playoffs, I'll be absolutely terrified because of our playoff record, and also I think we're the best team in the playoffs, so we will be. And will the pressure be on us? Maybe. So, and anything can happen during a football match during 90 minutes. So I will be a little bit nervous then. But no, at the moment, it's all a bonus, this. If we go away and beat Bournemouth and then beat Hull, it's just absolutely incredible. But if we don't beat Bournemouth, it's still been a phenomenal last few months. And we've still got real optimism that we can get up. This is almost like a bonus shot. That's the way I'm kind of seeing things.
What about you, Sarah? How are you feeling about the game?
Terrified. Been terrified for the last few weeks. I think Mikey's right. It absolutely is a bonus game, but I think because it's so close and because there's such a great chance and a great incentive, Forest can smell it. They can see what's there. They know the prize. There's so much riding on it. What I will say is that the whole camp and Steve Cooper are as relaxed and as calm as you could want. There's no sense of nerves or tension or feeling any pressure at all. The word that Steve Cooper used, I think probably about 20 times yesterday, was excited. They can't wait for it. They're desperate to get it played, desperate to get down there. He said after Saturday that if they could have played Saturday night, they would have done, because they just want to go and show what they can do. They've thrived on these big occasions before. We've seen it in the FA Cup. We've seen it at Fulham. We've seen it so many times. They'll be well up for it. And I think, yeah, it's exciting. It's just that there's so much at stake and so much riding on it that, I'm terrified.
I'll just put the league table up on the screen for those watching on Facebook and YouTube later on, so we can talk through it just quickly, and I'll read out, see if people are listening on iTunes. So Forest are on 79 points, Bournemouth obviously on 82. The goal difference, Forest is just one ahead. So obviously if they win the game, that favours them and it'll extend it. If they draw, then it might favour Forest very slightly, but it's very, very, very close. Team news, Mikey, or team selection? I mean, I just pick the same team personally, but what would you do?
Yeah, same team. Assuming Sarah's not right and Keenan Davies is back.
That's no inside knowledge. It's just a guess.
What about you, Sarah?
Same team.
Yeah, same. I don't think there's any question. I would absolutely pick the same team. I think Steve Cook will be absolutely desperate to do well on Tuesday. If he doesn't score the winner, then there's no justice, because he's come close to getting his first goal on several occasions, and I'm sure he'll be well up for it.
I'm sure he will. I don't think him and Scott Parker might have parted on the best terms by the sound of it, so I'm sure he'd be quite happy to stick one in the back of the net and celebrate in front of him. I'd love that if he did that. That'd be hilarious. How did Forest go about the game, Sarah? I was thinking the way they went about it at Fulham is probably the best way, isn't it? They got right in their faces and pressed high. It's a risky tactic, but I think it's probably the best one, is it? Yeah,
I think so. They'll go to win, because that's how they approach every game. It's just, I guess, in the manner that they do it. But yeah, I think the way they played that Fulham game will probably suit them. And defensively, they were rock solid that day. And you'd back them to be the same again. I think it'll probably be quite a nervy, cagey, tense game, because Bournemouth need a win as well. If they win, then they know they've got second. And equally, they want to keep Forest at arm's length still, even if it's a draw. So I think it'll be one of those games where there's not a lot in it. Take your chances. If Forest get a chance, they need to take it. And yeah, it's all about cool heads, staying calm, collected, and yeah, it'll be fine margins. I know I sound like Mark Warburton with that, but it probably will be.
What about you, Mikey? How do you want to see Forest go about it?
Yeah, same. I think Owen's put in the comments he'd take a Steve Cook 94th minute winner. Yeah, we all would, mate, to be honest with you. I think...
Not in the 94th minute. No. Before that.
Cook's record for Forest is when he started games. I think I read that he started 16 games for Forest and they've won 13 of them and lost one. So those three at the back, Cook, Worrell and McKenna, will be absolutely vital on Tuesday. There is no doubt about that. So whilst I don't expect Bournemouth to have sort of Swansea levels of possession, what I do expect from them is to be far more, or have far more of a cutting edge than Swansea did. Their front three is excellent, with Jefferson Lerma, I think, just behind them. They'll cause Forest a lot of problems. So we have to start really, really quickly. Like you said, Matt, I'd push up, get in the faces a little bit, see if we can take control of the game early. The pressure really is on them. I mean, their lead must have been, I'm quoting it, 10, 12 points at least. They must have been miles ahead a few months ago. So, like I said, anything from us in my head is a bonus. So if we can go 1-0 up, for example, or if we can dominate the game, will the nerves of their crowd transmit to them? Maybe, because of the situation that they've been in. So, yeah, same team for me. High intensity. I would say try and just be clinical. I know it's dead easy for me to say, but we will get chances that game because of the way that they play. And, we've got a striker at the moment who's in form, plus players like Brennan Johnson, Zinkenagel's come back to form last few weeks. I believe we will score on Tuesday. The question is, can we keep them out? But like I said before, Steve Cook and the lads at the back, if they play like they did at Fulham, there's every chance we can come away with the game with a win there. And then, oh my word, that last day at Hull, what is that going to be like? Then I'll probably get nervous, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I would as well. That's when I would be worried. That and the playoffs. I hate the playoffs so much. Not that we've experienced it for a long time. Mikey raised an interesting point, so I was going to ask you next around pressure. I think Bournemouth had something like a 12-point lead a month ago. Obviously, that's been eroded. Is Mikey right? Is the pressure more on them than Forest?
Yeah, absolutely. They've seen Forest come charging at them, and now they're so close. You're bound to get a little bit nervy and edgy. I think if you look at some of the comments that Scott Parker has made in the last couple of weeks, I think he was nearly on Kevin Keegan level the other day when he was talking about how he wants to beat Forest, he wants to beat everybody, and it was nearly Kevin Keegan level of quotes with that. But they've seen that lead cut down. They're the ones in second at the moment. They're the ones who can get automatic promotion on Tuesday. So yeah, the pressure's all on them. Forest, like Mikey said earlier, it's a free hit. It's a free shot. They've got nothing to lose. Bournemouth have.
Just looking at the Bournemouth team before we move on, I've got it in front of me from their last game. It looks to me like they're strengthening attack. I mean, we can't forget they've got players like Lerma cost 25 million in midfield, Solanke cost 20 million. They've got Christie, who's a good player, Scotland International, Billing. And then on the bench, the reason I looked is because I was going to say I was a bit scared of Kiefer Moore. He was an unused substitute for Bournemouth. He's given Forest no end of problems previously. Historically, this problem with big strikers. Which with Mikey, we can't forget the quality of Bournemouth, can we? Forest are probably still on paper the underdogs, you think?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. So this is a team that's recently been in the Premier League for numerous seasons, will have invested for numerous years, will still be having parachute payments. I think they bought Morgan Rogers for 10, 12 million. I don't know where he is. So the strength and depth of their squad is for all to see. I remember when they came up to the City Ground at the start of the season. Obviously, Brooks was in the team. Billing, obviously, great player he is. He's really good, certainly at this level. So they're going to pose a hell of a threat. And like Sarah says, I'd say they're the favourites. The expectancy from them themselves, I would have thought, certainly their fans, is that they go straight back up. Huge budget, serious investment in the team. It's there for all to see, as you said, Matt. That Jefferson Lerma is a really, really good player when he's on form. They've also got players like Jamal Lowe, I think they got from Wigan. They've been using
Jaden Anthony, players like that.
Yeah, really, really good, and on their day can turn a game. So we need to be really focused from the first minute. But like Sarah says, we've got nothing to lose. So if we do go there and lose that game, so be it. They should be going up in the top two. I just think that the more the game goes on and the longer it goes on, and if it's still tight or one goal between it, you might see a few nerves from their end. I don't think we'll have any nerves at all because it's, we've got playoffs secured. We weren't expected to be in this position, and we'll just go there and give it a go. And then whatever happens, happens. But it always fascinates me, the mental side of it. So, one team might race to a 2-goal lead, and that's absolutely fine. But if it does go on and it's tight, that's where your mental strength comes in. And I'd love to see what happens in the last 30 minutes if it's still 0-0. See who cracks first. It'd be very interesting.
True. I think Morgan Rogers is on loan from Man City. He's an interesting case. I mean, it shows how much Bournemouth have thrown at it. You can't even get in their 25-man squad, and I think Forest were interested in him. So, yeah, Bournemouth have thrown plenty at it. Just quickly, before we go, next 10 minutes or so, I mean, the playoffs are very much stood in the picture. So I'm going to put the table back up in case Forest don't win. Sarah, Sheffield United are currently in 6th on 72 points. Bournemouth also on 72, but with a game extra to play. Then you've got Middlesbrough on 70 and Millwall on 69. Their goal difference is a bit bleak, so they need a big goal swing, but we know those can happen on the last day. Sheffield United got Fulham on the last day, and Middlesbrough, I think, have got Preston. So who's finishing 6th, Sarah, for you?
I think Sheffield United will just get it. Because they're the ones in front at the moment, and I think they'll hold on to it. But it's going to be close. I mean, that final day is going to be a heck of a round of fixtures, because there's still there could be still quite a fair bit at stake.
True. Well, relegation's decided. We know all
other than that.
Mikey, I think you said Luton will finish 6th. So who's going to finish 5th?
Yeah, I do believe Luton will. I think they've got Fulham tonight, and they've got another tough game at the end, and I can't see Sheffield United or Middlesbrough slipping up. So I think Sheffield United will finish 5th. I think Luton will finish 6th. And then if we do finish 3rd, that would mean we get Luton over 2 games. I'd be quietly confident that we could win that over 2 games. They've done amazing, Luton, to be honest with you, with their budget. But you'd fancy Forest over 2 games, and then it would just be a 1-game winner takes all. But there's so many permutations, so many things can happen, and like Sarah says, we're looking at Millwall, that goal swing. Where have we seen that before, eh? Goal swing on the last day. So anything can happen. I wouldn't rule out anything at all.
Well, they've got Bournemouth, haven't they, on the last day, Millwall?
Yes.
So.
Yeah, at Bournemouth. So yeah, that'd be quite useful if they won that. Middlesbrough still worry me, just because of Jed Spence. I'd hate to go into the playoffs without Jed Spence, unless there's been some amazing admin error and Forest could play him, but I don't think they can. And Sarah, just quickly before we move on, just explain the Lyle Taylor situation. I know you did a piece on it, but Forest are short on strikers for people watching. Taylor couldn't even play in the playoffs, could he, even if he comes back from Birmingham?
No, he can't play. Loans are classed as window to window. So he is still technically a Birmingham player, even though their season has finished, and if Forest are in the playoffs and theirs hadn't. So no, he wouldn't be available.
Unfortunately. But it just goes so that Spence would be available, but he couldn't play against Middlesbrough, which is a pain if it comes to that. Last topic before we go. Further success throughout the club, I guess. Obviously, the under-18s are in the Youth Cup final, and now the under-23s are in the playoffs. First year after getting Cat 1 status, playing some much better teams. That's another great achievement, Sarah, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And the women's team are doing great as well. The whole feeling around the club is just fantastic. There's just such a buzz and an energy and a real sense that this season, from all different levels, could be a special one. The FA Youth Cup final will be an incredible occasion. Broken the attendance record already for it. It's playing at Old Trafford against Manchester United. It will just be wonderful. And I'm sure whatever happens with it, the players will benefit from it hugely. Fantastic experience to play in such a stadium in front of such a massive crowd on a grand stage like that. Under 23 is doing great as well. They're still in with a great chance of having a fantastic season. It's just, the whole club is just transformed, and it's just brilliant. It's great to see.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, Dale Taylor's on the bench at the weekend, Mikey. They've got Julian Larson, who's promised. We haven't even seen Jonathan Panzo yet, but you see lots of clips of him running 30 metres with the ball up the pitch from centre-back in the under-23s. The production line, just touch wood, is there to continue for years to come, hopefully, isn't it?
Yeah, they say success breeds success, don't they? Or at least a positive mindset and ethos filters all the way through every level and every team, and front of house and behind the scenes. I know there's a lot of happy people there at the moment. So yeah, that Panzo goal, if anybody hasn't seen it, he does run from his own half, plays a 1-2 and then hits it in. That gives you a lot of confidence that he might be able to make a difference next season. But we've got a lot of very talented younger players, and it's a testament to all the team. Gary Brazil, all his guys as well that have kind of worked with the guys as well. So yes, this team is a very special one for Forest at the moment, but it does give you confidence that regardless of what happens this season, there is that conveyor belt, and there is that those players that can come in and make a difference, and that is that's just wonderful to know, and it gives you that level of confidence as well. So it's brilliant to see all the teams at all the levels doing well, and the women's team as well. It's just fantastic. It's a great time to be a Forest fan.
Absolutely. A good note to leave it on. We'll leave it there. The plan tomorrow, well, Sarah, you're going to go to Bournemouth and report on the game for us all. And
with a pillow to hide behind.
And then for the rest of us, I think what we'll do, podcast-wise, Mikey, you're going to join me about 20 minutes after the final whistle on YouTube. So do subscribe on YouTube, and then you'll get an alert saying when that's starting. And we'll discuss the game with yourself, Mikey. I think Greg Mitchell's going to join us because he can't go, and Michael Temple should join us as well. And we'll all get together and discuss what we hope is a win. But if not, I don't think we'll be too downcast because, as you say, it's like winning the bonus ball at the moment. Let's see if they get the rest of the lottery numbers and land the jackpot of promotion. That was cheesy, wasn't it? That was terrible. Thought on the fly. Sorry, that's a very cheesy note to end on. But we are going to end it there. So, Sarah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mikey, thank you very much.
Cheers, Matt. Cheers, Sarah.
Thank you.
And hopefully we shall catch everyone tomorrow after a Forest win. See you soon.
Thank you for listening to Garibaldi Red, a Nottingham Forest podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, then please let us know. We love hearing your feedback. We'll be back soon with another episode. Thanks for listening.